Good afternoon, my viewers. African, I greet you all. It's good to see on Friday again. It's always very good. We give glory to God for everything He has done. We appreciate Him for the good and great weather He's giving to us in Africa, and most especially at this pandemic period of time. One thing I know and understand for sure is Africa is going to be great again. Nigeria is going to be great again. Your life, your work, your family, the life of our youths is going to be great again. Once again, I welcome you all to a special edition, the 11th edition of African and its youths, where we discuss about Africa, talked about Africa, way forward, to move us forward and to put things forward. As well, by next week we are going to be having a special guest, a prominent person in Africa. He's going to speak to us, go join us live and direct on this program. I pray the Lord give us good internet for us to be able to connect better. You know, at times when the service is poor, it affects the production because of the pandemic situation. Today, we have a series of things we want to discuss about, we want to talk about concerning Africa and most especially Nigeria. There was a time we had a program and we discussed about our leaders in Nigeria, in Africa, concerning COVID-19, and then we told us that it's better we find a lasting solution to this. If we can put hands together and work together, that this will work out fine. Also, we'll try to remind ourselves that today we're going to be continue, from where we have stopped, because I believe in continuation. If all we have been doing in Africa for the past decades, 50, 40, 30 years, if there have been continuation from the past government to the new government, to those that are handing over, things will be more better than the way it is now. But most of our politicians, the party, the government, most times they abandon the things they have done in the past, trying to do things in their own way. I have to do it my own way, you know. And because we don't have documents as documentation, as per continuation, before we hand over to ourselves, and most that even hand over with documents, we end up saying there is no money to continue to do those things. So we want to abandon some projects. Abandoned projects alone goes a long way in our country. We abandon a lot of projects, all because we want to do things in our own way in order to get money. I don't think it should be the best way, because we being there chosen as a leader, as a citizen, is not to go there and prove that we are a leader. But I believe leadership is by service. I believe we are being chosen there, we are being elected for us to go there, serve the people, do what they want, and try to put things together in order to make the country move forward. And I believe that is what we all to do, times without number. Of recent, in Nigeria, we lost some prominent people in our leaders, some senators, past governors. To mention but two, we have one of the senators called Peperito, the past governor of one of the states, Ajumobi, I think he's also a senator. We lost them due to lack of genuine treatment. Yes, let me say genuine treatment. Because it would have been a time where they can travel out of the country to other country, I believe they might still be alive. But because of COVID-19 situation, you know, when nobody is able to travel out of their country, everybody has to be indoor, because even those in foreign countries are also witnessing it, they are also passing through it. So for this reason, if the government that we have, if they have put their heads together and took it as something that is very, very important, I'm very sure by now it will not be affecting them as well. You see, they believe Nigeria, Africa belongs to the poor people. So they want to live big with our money. They travel out of the country. They travel abroad to treat themselves. And they neglect the doctors, the nurses that was trained to be in that office to take care of health system, to take care of our health, to take care of the citizens. And it goes a long way. You see, there is one passage in the Bible that says, whatever a man sweats, he will reap. So, if we are doing it and we are saying that nothing is going to happen, let's don't deceive ourselves. We are planting. We will sow, we will reap what we sow. Either now or in future. You see, is that time we need to come back to our senses in Africa? Is that time we need to put things together to do things rightly? Is that time we need to build, genuine hospitals with, genuine instruments? It's high time we need to look at every areas of the body, of the organs of the body, and build, perfect specialist hospitals that can look into it perfectly, not bringing everything together, head and toe and tail, everything in one hospital where there is no genuine equipment to take care of them. It is high time in Africa where we need to look into the health system, the problems, the challenges we are facing there. The doctors of recent, they said they give 2 weeks warning for strike, that they are going to strike if the government is not doing anything to add to their money to look into their own health as well for what they are facing. And the government did as if they did not even hear them for good 2 weeks until they started the strike. And do you know what? People have been asking what is the solution of all these strikes all the time. The problem to the strike is that the citizens of the country of the countries in Africa and its leaders must come together in one accord. We must be able to agree together. I believe the poor man out there, the workers out there, it is only by, giving warning for strike, going on strike, telling people the government the problem they are facing. That is when the government can know that this thing is serious and they need to do something about it. So for the doctors to go on strike is not a barrier. It's not new. It happens everywhere in the world. But the thing is, the government that we have, our governments in Africa, are they responding to this crisis when they come out of it? When it's been announced, you see, in Canada of recent, during this COVID-19 period, the workers, they call on government, their president, that come, we are going on strike. We are going to stop working except you give those that have been working permission to become citizens. Because we have a lot of foreigners there that have been working and they are not citizens. They are risking their life to save the life of the Canadians. Do you know what? The president said no. But after 2 days, he came out and said, I am going to give you everything you want. Just make sure my people are safe. Make sure the death is not beyond measure. Make sure that people are being treated, well attended to. That is what we need in Africa. Their own president as well, the Prime Minister of UK, also contacted COVID-19. They go back home safe. Why is our own leaders dying in Nigeria? Why is our leaders dying in Africa? They took care of their health system. They take it health as #1 priority. Their citizen, in fact, came second as priority. They believe if they can take care of health, every other thing will work out fine. They take care of their children in all over the world. They don't joke with them. But here in Africa, we neglect our children. We neglect health system. We neglect our doctors We neglect those that are taking care of us, and we want to live long. That is why we have a lot of premature death out there today. You see people dying with glory. A lot of glory that is supposed to work for Africa, they are in the graveyard. How long are we going to continue this way? How long? Don't wait until it affects the president before you do something in this country. Don't wait until it affects the family of the president before you do something in this country. Do it now. You have the authority. You have all what it takes for you to act fast, for you to take steps. In every aspect, health is important. Health is wealth. You can never go out there today and say you want to be this, you want to be that without having a sound health. The death that is killing people around you, if care is not taken, don't you know it will soon get to you? So the best thing you can do is to make sure you will find a lasting solution to health system in Africa, Nigeria. That is when things will begin to work out fine. Then you will be able to live positively. Then you will not be taking our money to foreign countries to establish things that are supposed to be established in Africa. It is high time we find a lasting solution to health system, health issue when there is strike. The best thing we do is we negotiate. We go on the round table, we negotiate, we agree together, and we solve the problem. If we are promising people that as a government, we are going to give them this, we are going to pay them money, let's make sure we pay those money. Not we go to round table, we discuss, we agree, and later we push them back to work, and after everything, we are not doing what we promised them we are going to do. The strike will still come another day. It is not good. It is not the right solution. Problems must be solved, not pending. We end as problems. We give short-term solution, and it doesn't work in Africa any longer. It is high time the government do something that is, positive. So we can all live long. They can also live long. Their children will also live long. That is when we do it rightly. Also, we need to look into our population. Listen, in Africa, mostly we don't produce. Most especially in Nigeria, we consume. We have everything, all what it takes for us to get there, but we fail to do it. We have all what it takes for things to happen, but we fail to take step rightly. Do you know in white man country, mostly their soils are not good for planting, but they still plant. Their weather is bad for planting, but they still plant. Here, that we have all what it takes for us to plant, we fail to do that. We have one-sided focus. All what we focus on is the natural resources. And even the natural resources, we are not working on how to make it work for us, work for Africa as a whole. Everything we want to do, we only look at the positive aspect of it, we don't look at the negative aspect of it. And it's not the best way of life. We give licenses that are supposed to be given to 3-4 people to just a single person because of our personal benefits. It's not right that way. If you are issuing licenses, it should be to people so that there can be, competition in that line, in that business. So we can be striving to do things rightly, to work perfectly for a perfection. When we are doing it for a short-term solution, it doesn't bring, solution to the problem of Africa as a whole. We call Nigeria giant of Africa. Are we working towards that as a giant of Africa? Great Nigeria. Yes, great Nigeria. Are the people in Nigeria great? The people in Nigeria, if they are great, the citizens, are they great? If the citizens are great, can they prove that greatness? All these things matters a lot. We need to learn how to control our population in Africa. People give birth anyhow. Go out there today, you see a lot of single mothers without husband. Men are no longer responsible in their homes to take care of their rights because they don't have work, because many of them could not take care of their children any longer. We see rape everywhere, killings everywhere, all because the men that were supposed to train, we failed to train them well, we failed to to equip them. We fail to help them to succeed. Our women begins to become prostitutes everywhere. Go to internet, you see them naked on the internet. Every little thing they open, their shares open everywhere, all in the name of money. All in the name of money that is not supposed to be so. Let there be control over the population of Nigeria. Let there be control over the population of Africa, so that we can work out modalities, models that will work, that will suit the coming generation, for us to stop having problems there and there after months and weeks. It is high time. Look at China. They have large population. They make use of that population. Here we have population and we are not making good use of them. Many people working on the street without work. Many youth working on the street without work, because we are not making use of that population. It is high time. Many of our youth have become Yahoo boys, smokers, and so on and so forth. All over the world today, they are celebrating Smokers' Days. In order to put stop to it, what have we done today to put stop to it? Many rehabilitation homes that are built, we have a lot of youths there today. Go to Yaba, you see them there. They have brain migraine, all because of what they have smoked. They are youth that are supposed to build the nation tomorrow. So it is high time. You are a landlord, you are a tenant, you are a parent, you are a youth. Try to control what God has given to you. Control it in a way that will not make you to die untimely. Control it in a way that will build your own future. Control it in a way that will help your environment, that will help our nation, that will help your country. Let's stop doing things that everything belongs to the government as well. The citizens as well have their own part, their own role to play. You cannot say you are a citizen in your country and you are not doing things rightly and you expect that country to grow. African youth needs to come back to your senses and do things rightly. You don't say because there is no job there, the next thing you need to do is for you to go out there and begin to smoke Indian hemps, smoke everything. At the end of the day, begin to affect your brain, affect our society, affect our environment. The government should stop patronizing touts. The government should stop patronizing area boys. They should give them jobs that will help them to grow their family, their future. If we are doing transport system, we should do it in a way that will help them to grow their family as well, not to return them back to the streets. We are not to return them back to the street for them to become beggars, for them to become arrogant, for them to become thieves on the streets. If they struggle to do one thing or the other done, we should be able to help them to grow that business, not to condemn them. In any little way God has used you, has given you the grace, we should be able to support, to join hands together, to build Africa, to make it work again. The time is coming that the white people will tell Africans, will tell Nigerians to go back to their countries. The time will come that we will have to carry our own cross by ourselves. It's already happening already. If the president of America can be telling Africa he didn't need their vote, he didn't need the vote of the blacks to become Africans, where we have majority of Africans there that are working to help their economy. It's because the way we produce ourselves, we give ourselves to them. It's because of the way we portray ourselves, our image before them. So it is high time we control things. It is high time we do things rightly. Also, we want to look at Godfatherism in our politics aspects. Godfatherism everywhere. Godfatherism is disturbing growth in this country. Godfatherism is disturbing growth in Africa. In any political aspect, yes, there will be fathers, but Godfatherism shouldn't be the author of the day. We are the one that puts you there. You have to give us salary. You have to give us money. Abba. Before you give them posts, you collect millions of naira from them. The people that are going to vote for them, as a citizen, will be asking money from the politicians for them to vote, to cast their votes. When the politician now come to post on seat that they have to settle some grudges, they have to settle some debt, they have to settle some things. Once you have collected money, we have already allowed them to understand that they are doing business. So they are using the citizens of the country for business, because we are not also doing it rightly. It is wrong for you as a citizen to be giving them money, to be collecting money from them because you want to vote for them. You need to vote for the person of your own choice. Or else the money that they are supposed to use to build a street, to build an environment, they will end up using to pay their debts. They will end up using to pay godfatherisms. It's high time we need to do things rightly. We have been complaining people are not talking about solution. Now we are talking about solution. Let's act on them. Let's work on them. God has used you to produce that party, to produce leaders there. Does not mean that you are their God. You shouldn't become their God. You are a leader. Let God lead you and do things rightly. Let there be law concerning the party that should be followed. Law should be followed, not godfatherism. Law should be followed. Court should be, fruitful. And there should be timely. So many people are in the prison today, they are not there on time. God is not giving the right judgment on time. They waste a lot of souls. So many people even die before their judgments. And at the end of the day, they discover that they are not guilty of that offense. It is time for solution. It is time for Africa. It is time for Nigeria to grow. To get there, we need to stop godfatherism in our politics of today. Without stopping godfatherism, there is no way forward in Africa. African citizens, they are armless. They are like soldiers without arms. Yes, many people today want to invest. Many of our youth today in Africa, they want to establish themselves. But do you know what? They don't have money to establish themselves. That's why you see a lot of them going into Yahoo to do a lot of things. If the government can put up a structure to empower the youth to be established, it will go a long way. They are like soldiers without arms. You, the politicians, you, the leaders, are the ones that have the arms with you. You have the authority. That is why you are being chosen. You should be able to use that authority to help them to grow. And not only give them money. If you have to give them money, you monitor how they spend the money. You don't give people millions of naira, millions of dollars, and saying they have collected the money, they should go there and be doing it. You need to monitor how they do it. That is how to do things rightly. There should be time fracture. When it's going to be done, when it's going to be ready, there should be monitoring. There should be visitation concerning it. That is how we can put things rightly. We should stop living a life of soldiers without arms. That is why we are still having problem concerning Boko Haram up to date in Nigeria. For over 10 years, for over 12 years, for over 14 years, up to now, Boko Haram are still existing. Because we have some foreign partners that are bringing ammunition for them. Because the soldiers we put out there, we are not, some of this ammunition that was bought for Nigerian soldiers, they cannot operate it. That's the bitter truth. They are not trained on how to operate those arms. So how do you want them to make use of it? The arms that they cannot control, they cannot operate. We put them out there, they neglect their family, they neglect their children for years without being paid. And we want them to go there and use their soul to die for the nation. It's not done anywhere all over the world. Before you do anything to your citizens, try and put it yourself into that shoe, into that condition, and think about it. Is it right? Is it okay? Is that how it should be done? Because if you say it doesn't concern you, before you know it, it will also come to your turn. If you say it doesn't concern you, before you know it, it will get to your house. If you say it doesn't concern you, before you know it, you will know that you are putting fire under your pillow. And there is fire on the mountain if Africans fail to do things rightly at the right time. There is fire on the mountain that we said thieves should not walk in the night. We put what do they call it? In the night. That there is no movement. But did you know even in the afternoon they are robbing? It's in the night we cannot move, but we can move in the daytime. Most of these people that you are seeing are those that have families at home. We stop bikes. What effort have we made to do things that will support it? For those that so many university students that graduated, they don't have work, they're riding bikes. University students that graduates, riding bikes. What have we done to support, to help them to get a better job, a paying job? Everybody cannot travel out of the country. We should know that. Everybody cannot travel out of the country. We need to do things rightly so that we can live long, so that our children also can live long on earth. I could remember the Bible says in the book of Proverbs 29, verse 6 to 7, says in the transgression of an evil man, there is a snare, but the righteous sing and rejoice. So if our leaders want to live long, if our politicians want to live long with their children, they should do things rightly. If we want our citizens in Africa, our youths, our children to have a greater future, we need to do things rightly in Africa. If we want our country, our nation to work again, we have to do things rightly in Africa. We know what to do. The problem we are facing in Africa is godfatherism, population with lack of control, selfish interests, love of money, haters of God. You carry all the little children around. You're forgetting that you have their age mate at home. It is wrong. It's not done. It has get to the stage that even prostitutes are coming out to speak with confidence now that it's a business, because they could no longer get a job. And we are there watching, keeping quiet until they told you that your wife is also doing it. Kidnapping everywhere. The white people, the outsiders, the foreign countries that are mocking Africa, they are mocking Nigeria. That there is insecurity, that the places are not safe. And that is why we have leaders. That's why we have leaders in every department, in every organizations, so that they can intercede for their people, for their citizens, for the youth. It is high time we work rightly concerning our education system, so that things can work out with good modality, so that things can work out the way it should be, so that the life of our children can have a greater future. There should be law that will help the women of nowadays for what they are facing concerning their marital aspects. There should be law to support the women out there. Women are suffering. Women are crying. Women are weeping. Most of our 100% of women we have in Nigeria today, in Africa, they are the ones taking responsibility of their homes. Many of the men are no longer working, and we are there watching. Let's act before it becomes too late. Let's act. Before you ask 10 people, they will tell you they are hypertensive. They will tell you they are diabetics. All these things are controllable. But when there's too much of thinking, people will die sudden death. Test materials that are supposed to be used to test COVID-19 patients. How many do we have in Nigeria? How many do we have in the state? How many centers do we have? Are they functioning well? Are they having enough materials to save lives? I heard that even testing COVID-19 patients will last close to 3, 4, 5 weeks. And we are saying we don't want people to die. Already they are dead already before we brought their results. The result should be, we should have system. We should build up a system that will make them to have their result on time before it gets too late for them. That is when we are ready to save us. Not when the thing has eat the marrow, eat a lot of aspect of them. We make law, we don't control the law. We make law, we don't go after the law to ensure that it is being implemented. We make law and later run after money. Then when we got the money, we neglect the law, we reject the law. And there are so many people in Africa today, most especially in Nigeria, they are greater than the law of the land. All these things we have to put stop to it. Nobody is greater than the law. We need to go by the law. We need to obey the law. We need to respect our law. That is when the country can move forward. How can we make a law and we are not following it as a citizen, as a leader? It is wrong. Let's obey the law of the land. Let's go by the law. Let's work with the law and things will work out perfectly. And okay, the laws that are no longer working should be adjusted. That will suit this dispensation, that will suit the future of our nation. It is high time for Africa. It is high time for Nigeria. It is high time for your home, for your family, for your children, for the youth in Africa, for education system, for health system, for our politicians, for our leaders, for the citizens to think rightly, act rightly, work perfectly to suit the purpose of God, the love of God for us. If God does not love Africa, He will not deposit all what He has deposited in African nations. He loves Africans. That is why He has given us all these things He has given to us. But the problem is we are not making right use of it. There are so many 1,001 ways, 1,000,001 ways we can derive and get money, but we are not using them. Let's go back to the drawing board. The Bible says, if the foundation should be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The righteous has a solution. The solution is for the righteous to go back to the foundation. Let Nigeria go back to its foundation. Let Africa go back to its foundation. Let's correct what is wrong in our foundation. Let's correct how people derail from what they have built the foundation on. Let's go back to the foundation, build the foundation, act on the foundation, write laws on the foundation, allow the foundation to work. Let's work on that foundation and it will suit the purpose of the nation, it will suit the purpose of the future, it will suit the purpose of the citizens of our nation. I pray we will not labor in vain. I welcome our viewers for today. Mommy Tijani, Adebimpe Tijani, Dr. Aproko, and every of our viewers that have one challenge or the other concerning the network. I believe very soon things will work better and perfectly concerning this program. Next week is another day. Let's put it in mind. Let's broadcast this program. Let's tell people about it. Next week we'll be having a special guest that is going to contribute with us in order to find a lasting solution as well. We are here for solution. We are not here to criticize any government. We are not here to derail, to spoil anybody. We are not here to curse anybody, but we are here. This program is laid down for Africans, for Nigeria. It is laid down for African and its youth, and we are here for lasting solution. God bless Nigeria. Nigeria and Africa will be great again in the name of Jesus. I love you all. See you same time on this station next week. Love you. God bless you. Do your best. Do it rightly. Put things right, and it shall be well with your family. You will not die untimely death. You will not die of COVID-19 in Jesus' name. Love you all. Bye.